Hello, and welcome to this week's special baseball edition of the Skirmish Show. My name is Skirmish. Um, I have an extremely tenuous relationship with the sport of baseball. Nathaniel Arfin really cares about baseball. Every year I say that I'm going to care about baseball in March. Every year by puck drop of the NHL playoffs, I have completely stopped caring about baseball. But I am a competitive person. And so the best chance I have at giving a shit about baseball is by having me and Nathaniel Arfin do a over-under picks, sort of picks and preview thing. Mostly because then my competitive juices to beat you end up mattering. And I will at least remember to check the standings on nights when I don't watch anything or I watch like 2 innings of the Jays. Nathaniel Arfin, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm excited for baseball season. Even if I'm not super hopeful about the Blue Jays, it's still going to be a great season, and baseball is fun, and I'm excited to talk about it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I did watch the second of the Japan series games.
Yep.
Mostly because that was the day I wrote a column about the NDP and just kind of forgot to fall asleep. And by the time that I was finished writing the column, it was already like 5:30, and it was like, well, the game starts at 6, so I might as well just watch it while I'm, posting the column and sort of getting ready for my day. I hate that baseball just has like 2 games, like 10 days before everything else. It fucking sucks.
And there's no reason really to do it. I mean, we've seen other leagues like hockey, football, basketball even have their regular season start at a regular time and still have these international series. Like, it's a bit tough because it's Japan, I understand. But it's
So hockey last year did Friday, Saturday in, I want to say, Czechia. Friday, Saturday, and then Tuesday the season started. Like, okay, normally.
Why doesn't do your regular?
Why can't it be Monday? So the season starts Thursday as we're recording. We're recording this on Tuesday. The season starts Thursday. Why can't they do Sunday, Monday, or Monday, Tuesday of this week? They fly back, they have 3 days off, and they play, or even Saturday, Sunday, right? Play a weekend series, and then fly back. You have 4 days off, and you start your season with a 3-gamer on Friday, Saturday, Sunday series.
And this is baseball's new obsession with having everyone open on opening day. It used to be that you get the Cincinnati Reds as the opening day game, but now everyone plays on opening day. So there is no room for that kind of creativity. It's unfortunate, and I wish that baseball has shown a lot of flexibility, but then they put themselves into these new inflexible holes. It's very strange.
I don't know. It just feels like in a sport where like the schedule is even more so kind of like the schedules are of course always made up, but it's like sometimes you play a 4-game series, sometimes you play a 3-game series, sometimes you play a 2-game series. For some reason, we forget to schedule the fucking dome teams and or Southern U.S. teams for opening day all the time, and inevitably, 4 of the first 9 Yankees home games end up being rainouts.
Well, that's why the Friday is always an off day for like half the teams.
I'm just saying, in a sport where this is all fake and made up, you could have the season start. You could have the season start Saturday and Sunday for the 2 foreign teams, as opposed to having them come back and then have them be playing spring training games.
Yeah, the fact that they come back and they still are participating in spring training is ridiculous. That's insane.
Play the game at what was it, 6 o'clock, I think, start time, maybe push that to 7 a.m. sort of, Eastern, but play that Saturday and Sunday. right? Play that as sort of your intro to the round of 32 March Madness game. Sort of get people back to paying attention to sports. Use March Madness. Oh my god! Especially given that this past weekend has been one of the worst weekends in sports outside of March Madness for one very specific reason. There's no Premier League, there's no European soccer, right? It's been an international break. So knowing that that's an international break, give us something to watch at 7:30 in the fucking morning on a Saturday when we normally would be up for like Brighton Crystal Palace or whatever nonsense. Make me commissioner of baseball. Fix the fucking sport.
I would really like for someone who likes baseball to become the commissioner of baseball. So maybe not you.
Counterpoint. If I'm commissioner of baseball, I will put the Expos there, and then I will deeply care about baseball again.
Oh, well, that's a fair point. But yeah, there's so many issues with playing this early series. I really don't like it. I'm not sure how the players feel about having that early series, and I know for fantasy players, it's a nightmare.
In fairness, my general philosophy on sort of questions of this nature, it's a good thing to play these games in Japan. There has to be a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going division by division. I mean, we just got to start with the Jays. So we're starting with the AL East. Spoiler alert, J section probably going to be a little bit meatier than the rest of the sections. 78.5 win total at DraftKings. Why do I think of this? 83 win projection on Fangraphs. I am taking the over. I'm sorry, you're just giving me 4.5 wins with the Fangraphs projection. I'm going to take it. The pitching should be good. I'm not confident that this team has solved its hitting problems. The Horwitz for extremely good defensive infielder who can't hit for shit trade does not inspire a lot of confidence that this management team knows what it's doing. I would say probably the biggest concern with this would be if the Jays realize in June that A, the season isn't going well, and B, that they're not signing Vlad Guerrero. They try and get 40 cents on the dollar in a trade. I mean, the Yankees, so part of the other reason I'm doing this is the Yankees have had obviously a very bad spring training from an injury standpoint. Garrett Cole's out. I think it's unclear when Stanton's coming back. It sort of kind of, if at all, like we're getting to a point where that's sort of an unclear position. I think they have one more where they have another starter out as well. And Cole's out with Tommy John. Like, I kind of think the AL East is there for the taking, and I kind of wonder if Atkins and Shapiro are going to view this season as a bit of a go-all-in season.
From my perspective, as soon as they didn't sign Vladdy to the extension, now this is I'm gonna hedge this a little bit here, but as soon as they didn't sign Vladdy to the extension, it became an all-in year. That you have Max Scherzer there, who's a bit of a moonshot. You have a bunch of old guys who are coming to the end of their useful lifespan. You have Bo Bichette, who's going to be a free agent soon, and you don't have much in the way of depth. This is really, really reminiscent of the 2015 Blue Jays, where you have a lot of these star players. The system is really hollowed out, and the past couple of years have been incredibly disappointing compared to expectations.
Yeah, the problem is that in 2015 we actually had a good aggressive GM helming the Blue Jays, and I don't think Atkins Shapiro can be referred to as aggressive in the way that you absolutely can say that about Alex Anthopoulos.
Now, one
I
of the things
also
you mentioned is that you're happy with the pitching, and I think I'm with you to a certain extent. One of the things that we're going to be looking out for here is like not a lot of these guys have strikeout stuff. Max Scherzer with the thumb issue is going to be a huge question mark all season. It's going to be a lot of innings management for him, and he is arguably the best strikeout pitcher. There's not a lot of depth beyond the starting five. I don't know if you want to include Yariel Rodriguez in there. 6. Manoah, we still don't know what to expect. Adam Macko is injured. Jake Bloss is a no one. So this is, they're going to need more than the starting 6 that are listed there, and it's going to be difficult for them to use any of the internal options because they just aren't very good.
Is there a case that Bo Bichette is just going to be significantly better than he has been the last couple of years, and a lot of the Jays' problems come from regression back to something closer to what he was, 2-3 years ago?
I think so. Last year, he struggled a lot with injuries. The whole team started incredibly slow, and Bo, he looked hot in stretches, but he never got an extended period of time where he was in a group. He just never had the runway at any point in time where he looked like the streaky hot hitter that he can be for stretches of time. It is a little bit concerning when you look at his trends because towards the end of 2023, he started to slow down a bit. And then he never picked it up in 2024. But again, he did have a lot of injuries. We'll see. He has looked good in spring training. If the Blue Jays have any shot, they're gonna need him here because he's another guy. He's gonna be walking at the end of the year.
Is there okay? I don't like Rogers and Vlad Guerrero are $50 million apart on a 13-14 year deal.
That's the reported numbers. Yeah.
Okay. So the Blue Jays just spent a shit ton of money to renovate the stadium. Rogers is now buying out Bell from MLSE, which is Raps, Argos, and of course the Leafs. Clearly, there is some cost consciousness happening within the Rogers sports family. How does it not make more sense to extend him, have the team actually be good, and then, rake in the extra jersey sales, attendance, concessions, etc., than this bullshit where you're going to let him walk for nothing and probably, resign the franchise back to, certainly the 2012, 13, 14 status of you can, a good night when you're not playing the Yankees or the Red Sox was 25,000 people at the stadium. Just on a pure financial level, put aside your valuation of him. If you are $50 million apart over a 13, 14 year deal, right? So call it $4 million a year? Not even. How are you not just fucking paying the money? And how is that not how are you not making up with that? But the fact that you would probably sell God knows what volume of Vladdy jerseys the moment that people know then it's not a complete and utter waste of fucking money.
And this is something that Mark Shapiro alluded to in his first comments since Vlad didn't sign. And what he said is, I think we're going to sign him. I think we're going to extend him. We have such a clear alignment on the desired outcomes. Vlad wants to play his whole career as a Toronto Blue Jay. We want him to end his career in a Blue Jays uniform and be a true legacy player for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, end quote. That, to me, indicates like he's thinking about these things too. Mark Shapiro, the organization, is thinking about the financial capacity, the earning capacity that Vlad brings to the club. I have never heard Mark Shapiro not couch his language. That's probably the clearest statement I've ever heard him give. I am now much more optimistic that he will end up signing. If they were only $50 million apart, I want to know why, and why it didn't just happen. Why are they putting the fans through this up and down roller coaster after 2 off seasons where there were massive roller coasters around free agents, around high profile free agents?
Can I give my conspiracy there?
Sure.
So I have 2 versions of this conspiracy theory. One, Rogers is thinking it's going to have a soft Q1, so they want to announce the extension right before their earnings call for Q1 in early April. Or 2, they are just insistent that the number has to start with a 4, and they just like refuse to go to 500. And Vladdy's like, no, I want a number that starts with a 5. And they're like, they're not even really 50 million apart at this point. They're literally like, Rogers is like, can you just take 495? And he's like, no, you're giving me 5 or I'm fucking leaving. And it's just like pure, just like pettiness and like annoyance about optics.
I do wonder how much of it is that kind of that pridefulness. And I also wonder how much involvement Rogers actually has in this. I'm sure Ed is on the phone with Mark Shapiro regularly, but I don't know if it's the team that might have this this level of protectionism. One of the things that I've noticed about this team, they have signed, this front office has signed 3 extensions of players ever. Randall Grichuk, Bo Bichette, and Alejandro Kirk. Those are the only 3. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is, I'm not going to say a generational player, but he is clearly a franchise player for the Blue Jays. He is the closest thing this generation has to Carlos Delgado, and he has the potential to be even better than that. I don't know how you don't sign him. I really don't.
The reason I think it's Rogers and not Shapiro is 2 points. One, he was pretty declarative that he wants to get this done, and to me, if there's that much intention, you would have just gotten it done by now. And 2, Rogers, now that they have a greater share of MLSE, Maple Leafs tickets are going up, up to 23% next year. Playoff tickets are going up for the Leafs, pretty substantially. I think Rogers is really starting to care more about the finances of their of their sports properties. And I think that is sort of the underrated story. I think that's, partially why the Raptors have made sort of extremely inconsistent and frankly baffling decisions the last few years. I think there's more incentive to get to make short-term profit from these sports assets than there has been in the past. And I think that is sort of a deeply sort of important story to understand what is happening in Toronto sports right now as Rogers is, consolidating his power.
And that's a concerning thing when you consider the history behind Tony Staffieri and his background and his ascension into the leadership at Rogers. That is a bit more wonky than we probably should be getting on a baseball podcast, but it's concerning that he hasn't been signed, that Vlad hasn't been signed, and if you are correct that Rogers is involving themselves in baseball financial decisions and not just giving the president a budget to operate off of, the team is going to be in trouble. If it's being run like a private equity project, then the team is going to have a hard time winning games.
You still haven't given a pick, over or under. 78.5 wins.
I'm going to go over. But I definitely see the downside risk here very clearly, and that is that the pitching depth is too shallow, and Max Scherzer doesn't pitch 5 games.
Yeah, Scherzer's. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just can't feel that bad about the Jays pitching when I look at the Yankees rotation. But we'll get there when we get there. Baltimore. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the spreadsheet up. The Baltimore Orioles, over under 87.5. They made the playoffs last year and summarily failed in the playoffs again, because that seems to be what they do. Do we think that this is finally the year that they are, more consistent? Only an 83 win projection by Fangraphs. Like, in theory, young teams should be getting better with age, but it doesn't seem like ownership's willing to spend the money that they should. Feels kind of like their window is kind of hilariously come and gone. Am I crazy?
I could see some of their guys having good seasons. Adley Rutschman, probably number 2 overall catcher in baseball. Jackson Holliday is an exciting player. Gunnar Henderson is probably one of the most exciting young players in baseball when he's healthy. They do have power in the outfield. They're a good team, but I don't know about their pitching. Zach Eflin is an excellent pitcher, but again, struggles with health. And then Charlie Morton's getting older. Grayson Rodriguez has health issues. They have depth here, but I don't think that they have the top end talent that will take them over the edge if they make the playoffs. 87 wins is really high for this team, but I mean, with the new balanced schedule, they don't have an advantage playing the Blue Jays and the banged up Yankees. 87's too high. I'm going under for the Orioles.
Yeah, I'm not just going to be a robot who listens to the Fangraphs prediction on everything, but it is really funny that the market is, and I think it's just that the market is looking at a roster that is, mostly unchanged from last year. And went, but they won more games last year. It's like, yeah, last year was weird in a lot of ways, and I just don't think, to be completely real, like, they were a cute team, and they kind of don't have it, and they haven't done anything to sort of get there, right? It's been a fairly big offseason for signings, for trades, like, and they just haven't really done anything.
Tyler O'Neill was a decent acquisition. Ramon Laureano is not going to make headlines, but he may play a bit of a role.
Why were they not in on Max Fried?
That's a good question.
I've got issues with the contract the Yankees offered Fried, just because that feels like too many years for a guy with the number of innings that he's pitched, but you can deal with years 5, 6, and 7 on that contract. Like, that's fine.
And they paid Charlie Morton $15 million. I mean, Charlie Morton, who had a 4.20 ERA last year, he's not the guy he was in those playoff days in Atlanta. He's clearly over that hill. He's 41 years old. So paying Charlie Morton is kind of a weird move. Kyle Gibson is still there. Like, how many innings is he going to pitch? He's 37 years old. They have a lot of question marks around the pitching, and they didn't do enough to shore that up. It's a similar scenario to the Blue Jays. They have interesting position players, but it's going to come down to pitching depth, because it always comes down to pitching depth.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be repetitive as we do this, but good to know that you have a theme. Red Sox 86.5. Signed Walker Buehler this offseason. We're in the mix for a lot of moves. 85 win projection on Fangraphs. They've got a great rotation, right? Obviously, Tanner Houck is incredible. Like, they've got a very solid team, or certainly a solid rotation. Do they have the bats, do you think, to really, really make a run, especially in what should be a fairly wide open AL East with the Yankees injuries that we're going to get to in a minute? I mean, Bregman was also obviously a huge addition.
Yeah, it really comes down to Bregman and Devers. Jarren Duran's going to have probably a nice season, but Bregman is going to be really, really important for them. And they're going to need him to keep being the guy he was in Houston. Rafael Devers has been one of those guys who has been consistent for them. Whether or not he can play third base every day is, he doesn't have to now with Bregman, but we'll see how he bounces back from that, because we've seen guys underperform when they've been moved off of a position like that. Who's the one I am thinking of? There, Hanley Ramirez. Famously, he was moved off of his position in favor of Jose Reyes, and he basically didn't hit that year. Guys take this kind of stuff in strange ways, so we'll see if Devers can perform at that high level in the DH slot.
I mean, yeah, it just this comes down to one of my few philosophies of baseball. I'm going to trust pitching. I'm going to go over. I don't care that it's a slight, because the other thing is, I think I'm going to spoil this a little bit. I think the Yankees are having the season from hell. Like, I think this is just going to be a disaster for them. And so, given that belief, the division's going to be there for the taking, and they can go get a bat in July, right? Like, there's no real reason to think that if they are a bat short, which I think is sort of the general criticism of them, right? The thing that sort of divides them from the clear-cut contenders in the MLB. The reason they don't have a 90-win total, probably need one more bat. Well, they can go get one. Somebody will be available in July that they can go get. And it just feels like the division is there for the taking. And certainly, Fenway Sports Group has taken a lot of heat since the Mookie Betts trade, right? If this season is going okay to well for them, they have to make an all-in move, and they need to make it as quickly as possible, if only to buy some goodwill back in Boston, where everyone thinks they're more interested in the fucking Penguins and fucking Liverpool and, the stupid simulator golf league whose name I'm forgetting and everything else that they're doing, right? They need to show that they still care about the Red Sox, and This is this the worst AL East in like 20 years?
It's really bad. It's actually really impressive. And, of course it comes at a time when when the schedules are balanced, so the Jays aren't beating up on not good AL East teams. Not that they would, because the AL East is insane. But yeah, this is it's the Rays feel bad, but that'll change because they're the Rays. Boston feels like they don't have bats, which is never the case. The Orioles just feel like the Orioles, which is, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but not great.
Yeah. Yankees have an over-under of, I believe it's 87.5. 89.5. Why am I not just betting my entire life savings on the under? 86 projection on Fangraphs. Luis Gill's out till June. Garrett Cole's out for the season. Stanton, I believe, is out till June. But let's be real. Does anybody think that June date's coming? Is actually coming through for Stanton?
Why would he come back?
Of course. Obviously, it makes no sense. And if he is, come back in fucking September and try and be a playoff hero if the team's any good. But two of your best starting pitchers are out. The lineup didn't look particularly great even beforehand. It's
not like their system has anything that I'm immediately afraid of in terms of their pitching either.
Obviously lost Juan Soto from last year's team. I don't know, man. You lost your second best hitter and your best pitcher.
Rodon was one of those guys I had pegged
for the first 2 months. It feels obvious to me under.
Yeah. Rodon is one of those guys I had pegged for not regression, because he actually had a decent season, but he's going to end up around, I think, 4.5 ERA. Marcus Stroman as a number 3 in 2025 is crazy to me. And then they have Carlos Carrasco, who's joined the team as a non-roster invitee. This is just bad. They spent up to get Devin Williams. They spent up and they went out and got Jazz Chisholm. They have all of these pieces in places. They should be a better team than they are, but these injuries are just going to be way too much. And it's not like they're done getting hurt.
It's a fairly old team, right?
That's right.
Is the corpse of Anthony Rizzo still around?
Rizzo is a free agent. He's done.
Can we sorry, 2 things. One, you never gave me an over-under on the Red Sox.
I'm going over on that as well, yeah.
Okay. Is there any team that has less whose players have less cultural or less significant moments after their title team than the 2016 Cubs?
Yeah, that team just fell right apart as soon as
Chris Bryant fucking sucks. Right? He was supposed to be the next coming, and he's just terrible.
Yeah.
That team, I look at I every so often I'm reminded of that team, and I look at the roster and I went, have any of you done anything since this title?
And yet they were all so memorable on that team, right?
Yeah.
Zobrist, Rizzo, Bryant, Schwarber.
I guess Schwarber's been good for Philly when he is making Philly fans want to kill themselves.
He's kept it up, yeah.
But even then, Philly fans have an extremely love-hate relationship with him, which is, that's just Philadelphia fans not being built for baseball, for the rhythms of a baseball season, right?
Yeah.
This is a fan base that loves overreacting to everything, and baseball's a bad sport for being reactionary.
You kind of have to take the waves as they come and go. Absolutely.
there's just nothing to be gained by being reactionary in a sport that's like whose whole thing is being whose whole thing is that the season is extremely long and you play a shit ton of games. Tampa Bay under 81.5. Fangraphs has them projected for 82 wins.
I'm taking the over.
Ooh, our first disagreement, I believe.
And it's the Rays are this magic team where they just exceed expectations year in and year out. I think Danny Jansen could be a good piece for them if he can get healthy. Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, these guys can bang. They are a hard-hitting team, and they don't have much in the way of a rotation, but it doesn't matter. The Rays will find a way to make it work. Jacob Waguespack might throw 50 innings this year, and he'll somehow come out with a 2.5 ERA.
Counterpoint. They don't have a stadium.
Well, I mean, at least they're not playing in Sacramento.
They're not. The Athletics is not an answer to why they're going to win 82 games.
Where are they playing?
The Steinbrenner Stadium?
Oh, that's right. They're playing in Yankee Stadium.
Well, it's the Yankees like spring training home?
It's their spring training home, but Steinbrenner had it designed to be an exact replica of Yankee Stadium.
Okay. Well, at least they're going to, I guess, including the short porch and right
They
there.
have the short porch and everything.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So what? Overs on every Rays game then? No rotation, hard hitting bats, just overs on every game?
I think so. Yeah.
Can I just say, fuck the Trop, man. Fuck the Trop.
I'm very, very happy we're going to be done with that.
Terrible. Oh no, we're not though, because the owner just backed out of the new stadium deal.
That's right. Yes.
Montreal.
I don't understand how they can justify putting more money into the Trop. For those who don't know, Hurricane Milton completely destroyed the stadium roof at Tropicana Field. So they're not playing there this year.
I mean, because the owner just wants to bail out, takes exorbitant. I mean, the fact that ESPN, wanted a 66% reduction in their fees to maintain their broadcasting rights, and when MLB was like, "No," they're like, "No, we don't care." The fact that ESPN offered less money per year for MLB rights than they offered for hockey rights.
It's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign for the House of Baseball. And if I were a franchise owner looking at these sky-high franchise valuations, might not be the worst time to bail out if I don't have a stadium deal, especially if there, is a certain Montreal heir who, whatever he might say publicly, still would very much like to bring the Blue Jay, to bring a baseball team back to Montreal.
The financial aspect of it right now, with the political situation being what it is, might be a bit more daunting than it was in the past, and it might put a damper on those kinds of conversations. But it's,
Counterpoint now that Trudeau's gone, what else does Bronfman have to do with this time?
Yeah, I would like to see the Rays in Montreal as become the Expos again, of course, as much as many in Canada. I'm not going to say as much as you. But two teams currently being homeless effectively is not good for the sport.
Yeah, not great. I'm going under because one, the season has like recipe for disaster playing in a minor league stadium. Although, in fairness, given that like 6,000 people would bother showing up to the Trop, I don't necessarily think they're going to have a an attendance decline necessarily. Um, this look, man. I understand that the Rays have a horseshoe up their ass. I don't care. Their luck has to run out at some point. Just has to, doesn't it?
You think so, and then it keeps happening.
I mean, sure. I mean, the other thing is just like hilariously, I think the balance schedule would be better in many other years than this for the Rays, but like losing a bunch of games at Yankee Stadium, losing a bunch of games against, the middling staffs of the AL East probably would be good for them. Cleveland, 82.5. Jesus Christ, the AL Central sucks. That is my grand takeaway from the AL Central. It's dog shit.
Wow.
So Guardians project 478 wins by Fangraphs. The only thing I have actually positively retained of baseball information is an Anthony Bundo of the Ringer stat that basically the Guardians can't hit for power for shit. Like bottom 10 in barrel rate, basically for each of the last two seasons. They have just like frauded their way through unsustainably high BABIP. Eventually that's going to fade. They re-signed Tanner Bibby, but like, yippee. Team still sucks.
Yeah, so Bo Naylor is back. Hopefully they get some bop out of him. Santana, Jose Ramirez, and that's about it for power. Oh, Lane Thomas. This is not going to be a hard-hitting team. And they have Emmanuel Clace, they have Cade Smith, they have a really good bullpen. For that reason, this is really reminiscent of the Kansas City Royals team that won the World Series. In that they are a light hitting, move the ball, get to the bullpen type of team. Beyond Bibby, they have Tristan McKenzie, who could be impactful. Gavin Williams should be pretty good. This is another team where, like I said, they really want. This is a team they want to get you into the bullpen. They want 5-6 innings out of their starter and then hopefully finish out the game.
Yeah. So are you going over them?
82.5.
I mean, if they can beat up on the terrible on every other terrible team, I understand how you get there.
There's just not that much. Like, it feels like a very talent bereft American League right now going through this. I can definitely see. I'm going to take the over 82.5 for the Guardians.
I'm going to go under. I don't know. Progressive Field sucks. I've been there. I love the city of Cleveland. This is not Cleveland slander. This is Progressive Field sucks slander. But like, I don't know, man. That team just does nothing to inspire me. And it just feels like at some point the magic being thrown out. White Sox 53.5. Fangraphs projects them
what?
Sorry, what?
53.5.
Yeah. Fangraphs projects them for 63. I am assuming they fired their manager last year, right?
Yeah.
I am assuming new manager bump and just like some amount of player pride gets them over 53.5.
53.5 is unbelievably low. To the point where Fangraphs, like based on the way they project games, can't even get to that level of bad.
Yeah.
They can't do it because they assume 60 wins.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible.
I mean, this feels just like, I'm sorry, Fangraphs gives me a 10-win advantage. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well, but I just want to emphasize how bad this team is.
They're fun fact, they're not the only team with a sub 60 win projection.
That's absolutely insane. And I would figure the other one we'll be getting to in the next section.
In the NL.
Oh, man.
Oh, they're actually, wait. I'm now checking the team that you're talking about to see if there are 3 teams. Wait, where are the Athletics? What the fuck?
Oh, no, the Athletics are actually expected to bounce back a bit this year.
Where are the Athletics in this thing? Oh, they're under A. Wow. Okay.
Yes, they are no longer Oakland.
Yeah, but they didn't call them the Sacramento. Anyways.
No.
Tigers 83.5. They obviously went on that Cinderella run at the end of last season to make the playoffs. Fangraphs is 82. They've still got who's the crazy pitcher who's incredible?
Terry Skubal.
I wanted to say Skibbity, but that's something else. Skubal. The division's terrible. If I'm taking the under on the Guardians, I should probably just take the over on the Tigers as like a pure someone needs to win the games in this division bet.
I'm going to take the over on the Tigers. I think they're really underrated here. Jack Flaherty was a really good pickup for them in free agency. So is Tommy Kahnle. Gleyber Torres fills a gap at second base. Manuel Margot will steal some bases. This is a good team.
Are you worried about the fact that Jack Flaherty had like a 4.5 ERA last year?
It was a 5 in 2023. Last year he had a 3.7. He had a 5 ERA in 2023.
Who am I thinking of then? Oh no, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Walker Buehler. I did some stuff. I did some baseball work at the end of last season for the lines, and honestly, it all just kind of blurred together for me.
A lot of these players do end up looking really similar in their profiles too. It's funny. Casey Mize is a guy who I still believe can have high-end upside. Overall, I think this is a good team. They should outperform.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like obviously you're worried about the team that caught hot fire getting overrated, but I think in an 83.5 projection, that's not that big of a concern for me. Are we worried that Gleyber Torres is just a short fence merchant?
Yeah, I mean, he is better than Javi Baez at shortstop or at second base.
Speaking of Cubs that had a weird post 2016.
That's really it for me. Is he's probably gonna have around a 730 OPS, be slightly below average overall, but one of the top 10 at second base. That's my projection for him.
Royals also 83.5. They made the playoffs last year. Did they win the division last year? No, were they the ones that beat the Orioles?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. How the hell did the AL Central get 3 playoff teams last year? What the hell?
Such a bad division, but somehow.
I know nothing here. I'm letting you take the lead.
Okay. I really really like the Royals looking at this team. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr., one of the best young players in the league. Salvi Perez is still kicking. He probably won't play a ton of catcher this year. Last year played 90 games behind the plate. This year, I would expect it to be a more 50-50 split with Freddie Furman. Mark Canha is a guy to watch. He hits the cover off the ball. They got him in a trade with Milwaukee, and he was a non-roster invitee. They selected his contract towards the end of spring training here. This starting rotation is going to be something to watch. Seth Lugo at the second spot's not great. Waka is not great. Like, it's just the pitching is going to be a problem for this team. But I really like their offense. I think I'm going to go under.
I love how you started that with, I really like this team, and you're going under.
Yeah.
I have zero strong opinions. Fangraphs are telling me to go under, so I'm going under. Look, man, my general opinion is this division sucks. So under, tie goes to the under. Minnesota. God, we gotta start zipping through this. We've been on this call for an hour, and we're 2 divisions in.
Oh wow.
84.5 for the Twins. They are the projected winners of this division by Fangraphs. 83 wins. I don't know, man. Under, I guess. Just keep on the theme.
Yep. I'm going under here. Pitching's not great, and the bats are middling.
Did they make like a big upgrade this offseason to justify an 84 win projection when they were the 4th best team in the division last year?
No.
Then why are they projected for the most wins in the division?
They really haven't changed much. I mean, their starting pitching staff this year is Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, Simeon Woods Richardson, and Chris Paddock. This is not a very good team.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels odd, but okay. I guess we'll start with the Athletics of No City. 71.5. Do we know anything about the park in Sacramento?
River Cat Stadium. It's just like a cookie cutter AA stadium. Nothing special about it.
Hitter friendly, pitcher friendly. Do we know that?
I believe it's a Pacific Coast League. Pacific Coast League is typically pitcher friendly, but I don't have the park factors in front of me.
I mean, I don't know, man. They don't spend any money. Team's terrible. The fans are completely checked out. It feels like everybody's just waiting until 2027. Under. This feels like a bad vibe. This feels like an everybody wants to kill themselves by May 1st team.
Yes.
Also ripe too, even if they're on a 72 win or 73 win projection by July 31st. That's what the trade deadline is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Even if this team is on like a 73 win projection, I feel like they sell their 3 best players that are vaguely do contract raises. So can backdoor it under that way. Houston, 87.5. Jose Altuve is playing left field, and it's looking comically bad. They lost Bregman. They brought in. Did they bring Kyle Tucker? Do I have that right?
No.
Who has Tucker now?
Chicago.
Oh no! Did they? I believe they.
Other way.
Yeah, they traded him. Sorry,
Uh,
I
they
knew
brought
he
in-
was involved in this. Lost Bregman, lost Tucker. Altuve is now playing left field and looking incompetent. Legitimately, some of these outfielding errors that we're seeing are like, with all respect to the women involved here, the kind of outfielding errors you get in the Glencairn Ladies Softball League. Like, how long can that experiment last? And then, like, what do you even do if you can't put him in left field?
Well, and they've really put themselves in a hole here because they have Yordan Alvarez, who doesn't have a position. They have Christian Walker, who can't play a position. In right field right now, I mean, they could try to hide Altuve in right instead of in left, but they don't have a ton of outfield depth. I think the time is finally coming that we're seeing Houston's dominance come to an end a little bit. If they can't find a playable outfield to put this together, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I feel like defense is one of those things that people kind of just sort of yada yada over, and it's like, no, it matters.
Well, you look at someone like Teoscar Hernandez, who, yeah, it usually didn't matter, but he made so many errors in 2022 that it almost entirely offset his offensive performance. A year that he had 25 home runs, he had negative 7.5 defensive runs. It's these kinds of things add up, and left field is not an easy position. It's somewhere
Especially not left field with the monstrosity that is the Minute Maid Park.
Minute Maid Park and the Crawford boxes that are there. It's not a standard stadium, and
it's the rip-off Fenway.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Left field is somewhere where you hide someone who can run but doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, but you can't do that when you build a left field that doesn't work. Like when you build a stadium where your left field is not sort of conspicuous nonsense.
Hopefully they move Altuve to right sooner rather than later, because I think he has a chance of success there. I mean, they have Chas McCormack, they have Cam Smith. I don't know. I'm starting to worry about them. They're not the team they used to be.
I'm on the under. Are you joining me?
I am.
So that is 4 straight unders for both of us. Los Angeles Angels, 71.5.
Huh.
Welcome to my annual question of, is Mike Trout playing baseball this year?
He is in the best shape of his life.
Is Anthony Rodon playing baseball this year?
Where is Rodon?
Rendon, sorry.
Not for the Angels. Oh, wait.
Hip surgery out long term. Great. Okay. Cool.
So the Angels don't really have a catcher.
That's great.
Mike Trout is a million years old. Tim Anderson is bad. Yusei Kikuchi is their opening day starter. This is not. Yes, but the line is 71.
Yeah. Over?
I think I'm taking the over. As implausible as that seems, given the description I just gave of this terrible team, 71 feels low, and I think that they can get 75.
If Mike Trout plays 120 games, I feel like they could go over 71.5.
Yeah.
There is a reason that my two questions were: are the two people who get paid on this team playing baseball?
Yeah.
Who's the fourth team of this? I think I've forgotten to say what the Fangraphs are for the last couple. The Astros projected for 83, by the way. The Athletics projected for 76 wins, according to Fangraphs. Not really sure how they're getting that. And 76 for the Angels. Cool. That's enough justification for me.
Yeah.
Mariners. They project for 85 on Fangraphs. They have a win total of 84.5. Synergy between Vegas and Fangraphs. Where are you going with this team?
I really like Seattle. I'm taking the over here for sure. They have a great rotation. They have an awesome, really, really fun infield. They just picked up Rowdy Tellez, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I like this team. I think they are my favorite to win the division, and maybe even the pennant.
Ooh, that's a bold take. Although I feel like a bunch of people are just sort of penciling the Yankees to go back to the World Series, and
yeah,
that doesn't seem likely. I'm gonna take the over mostly because I have a deep affection for the city of Seattle. Rangers over 85.5. What went wrong with the Rangers last year, and are the things that went wrong with the Rangers last year gonna resolve themselves, or which was the outlier, 2023 or 2024? Please don't be boring and just say both.
Yeah. You know, it's tough to say what the real team is in any given year, because it's so much about how they mesh and how they gel and how they string things together. They have made a couple adjustments here, but like what it really comes down to with the Rangers, again, I've said it 1,000 times, is pitching depth, which they just didn't really have much of last year. And I think that's one of the things that really didn't work out for them. That's not really a hot take. You know, they had a 4.37 ERA in 2024 and a 4.18 in 2023. And those 2 points, or those 0.2 of a run on an every game basis, make all the difference in the world.
How much of your general contempt for this team is just still being mad about 2015 and 2016?
How dare you? And also, yes.
Under, I guess.
I'm going to take the under as well.
I feel like I'm just defaulting to under, which it doesn't really work because at some point, like, the wins have to come. You know.
Well, luckily, we have the balanced schedule, and the NL is still coming up.
Yeah. I guess we'll go NL East. Atlanta. How do the Braves have the projection that they have? I mean, 93.5. They project for 93. They lost Max Fried. You know, does this seem as ludicrous to you as it does to me, or?
Chris Sale should be healthy. Reynaldo Lopez.
Isn't Chris Sale 1,000,000 years old?
He's only 36.
How?
He's been in the league. He's one of those guys who's been in the league forever. If he can stay healthy, I think I don't know. 93 is really high. They have a good team, and I do expect that they will be a deep playoff team. But 93 wins as a projection is incredibly high. I'm going to take the under here.
isn't saying if Chris Sale gets healthy, like saying like a gay man saying, if I can turn that straight boy gay.
Yeah. He threw 5 games? No, he threw 30 games last year. But 2023 through 20, he basically didn't throw it all in 21 and 22. It's we'll see.
I mean, Acuna's not going to be playing until, May, it looks like. Maybe later. Obviously, we hope that he comes back and he's healthy and he's immediately the sort of like deeply electric player that he was before.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a guarantee at all, right?
No,
and it feels like that 93 projection, 93 and a half win total, 93 projection really relies on the idea that he's back May 1st and immediately is back to, 2023. Did he win the MVP in 2023? Oh, no, I think Ohtani. Oh, no, Ohtani
was Acuna, yeah.
But, that doesn't feel certain to me that he just comes back and is immediately that guy again, right? We know that these kinds of injuries can take time to ramp back up. And yeah, he might, he'll probably be fine in August, September, hopefully for Braves fans, October, but that does not feel like a certainty in the slightest.
I would agree with that. You also have Spencer Strider, who we don't know how he's going to bounce back from his Tommy John surgery. Pitching depth.
Yeah, and probably second toughest division in baseball?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, second toughest for sure.
Yeah, it feels pretty simple to me on that front. The Marlins of Miami. 63 and a half total. Can I name, is Jazz Chisholm still on this team?
No. Yeah,
great. I can name 0 players on this team.
Sandy Alcantara. Oh, Otto Lopez, former Blue Jay. Griffin Conine, former Blue Jay. Let's see. Wow, this is a bunch of nobodies.
Fangraphs projection for 71 wins.
I'm gonna take the under. Yeah, this team is garbage.
You're going under with that big of a Fangraphs? Wow.
They're just bad.
Hey, I'm fine with it. I'm fine disagreeing with you for once. No, you're going over. I'm the one. No, you're going under. I'm going over. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Fangraphs and Prime Ed. If they just go 500 in April, we're fine. Is N before P in the? No, it's N then P. Mets 90 and a half. I unfortunately am in a position where 86 projection by Fangraphs. I am in the unfortunate position where this is my only baseball, strongly held take about baseball this year. This is going to be a catastrophic season for the Mets.
You think so?
Mets fans are going to suffer levels of sadness that Mets fans honestly thought they put behind them by signing Juan Soto. Everything has gone right for them this offseason, right? They get Juan Soto. Pete Alonso comes back on it seems like he completely misplayed his hand in free agency.
Yes, he did.
Mets fans are way too happy right now. And the thing about Mets fans is that they're also Jets fans in large parts. And these people are not allowed to be happy in life. They have done something to piss off the gods to cause this to happen. And I listened to the Ringers movie podcast, and one of the co-hosts is a Mets fan, and the producer is a Mets fan, and so I get Mets corner every so often. That is how I know that Pete Alonso overplayed his hand. It's solely through updates on the big picture. They're they are not allowed to be happy. These people are not allowed to be happy about their sports teams. It is unacceptable. It's not happening. This team's going to win like 75 games.
So 2 big flags right out of the gate. You have Frankie Montas and you have Sean Manaea with soft tissue injuries, strained oblique and strained lats. Those aren't good injuries to start the year off with as pitchers. They have some decent depth with like behind Clay Holmes, but other than Clay Holmes, you're hoping for something out of Kodai Senga. You're hoping for a good year out of Griffin Canning, but these aren't things you can hang your hat on. I'm going under because I think that number is too high for this team. I do think the Mets are better than your projection. It'll be interesting. They're starting the year with Acuna's little brother, Luis Angel Acuna, on the bench. So we'll see how that goes.
Phillies 91.5, project for 88. This team was in the World Series 3 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago, they were in the NL Championship Series. Last year, they got knocked out in the divisional round. Feels like they're a good regular season team. Don't know if they have it to get over the hump. They probably will be aggressive at the trade deadline. I think the Mets suck. I have wins to give out in this division. Philly's over.
Tell me if you've heard me say this before. Pitching depth. So they have Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, and Aaron Nola as their top 3. And then it drops right off the shelf. Actually, Christopher Sanchez is pretty good. But then you get to Taijuan Walker as their 5th starter. And behind him, there is not much.
How difficult do you think it'll be, though, to get a 4 starter in?
Well, the thing is, in baseball, you're talking about the 2016 Blue Jays, for example. They pitched 7 starters. It was unbelievable how few starters they used. Most teams, you're gonna need 10 starters throughout the year to come in and spot start. If a guy's throwing a 4.5 ERA, that's pretty good for those spot starts. But it really, with a guy like Aaron Nola, who's getting up there in age, actually he's only 32. Oh my goodness. Zach Wheeler, 35. But these guys have shown injury problems in the past. You're gonna want to shore up some depth, especially these teams that have been going deep into the playoffs in the past few years. The arms get tired, and Taijuan Walker is not the kind of depth that this team needs.
Counterpoint, this is a filthy lineup, right? Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner. Like, that's a damn good. I'm missing people, but like
Jason Realmuto is the best all-around catcher in baseball.
Yeah, Realmuto is great. Like, I don't know, man. If we both think the Mets are semi-fraudulent, how are they not winning this division? And if they're winning this division, they're probably winning 92 games.
This is another team where they have a lot of positionless players. You want to get Realmuto off his feet out behind the plate every once in a while, but Bryce Harper's blocking the way. Alec Boehm is there at third base, so you can't move Harper over. Castellanos can't move out of right field. I don't know. There's a lot of positional gridlock here that I could see causing them problems. Oh, it's that number is really high again. 90 wins is a plateau that really only 1 or 2 teams get to, if that, in a season. And I guess this is one of those teams. They have the lineup. Okay, yeah, give me over.
Also, you just can't have unders on all 3 of the Braves.
Yeah.
Braves, Mets, and Phillies.
Hopefully Jordan Romano is actually healthy and able to close out some games for these guys.
The Zombie Expos are really young. We have no idea if these guys are any good. you got to think at least one of them probably is good enough to get them over a 72.5 number. Fangraphs has them for 73. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go over there as well. I think their pitching is better than that. Mackenzie Gore is good. Jake Irvin is good. Mitchell Parker is good. And yeah, they have some interesting players.
Yeah, it just feels like this team is going to be fine. They're the Zombie Expos. They are not the Nationals.
They're not very good, but they're not going to win, but they're okay.
Chicago Cubs, 85.5, traded for Kyle Tucker, as we established earlier. Is what's his face, Stoner Boy, still there? Guy who permanently looks stoned, ex-Dodger. Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger. No. Bellinger is in Los Angeles. No, he's with the Yankees now.
Oh, yeah. They traded him and then traded for yeah. Sorry. See, this is the thing, is I only like half pay attention to baseball news. 85.5 win total. They project for 82 wins. Jesus Christ.
I'm going under. They don't have
every team in both of in the central divisions just terrible.
Yeah, for the most part.
3.5 game under, and they got rid of Stoner Boy. That's enough for me. Under.
Don't have the pitching. Under.
Cincinnati. Fangraphs has them for 78 wins. DraftKings has them for 78.5.
I can say over. I could see this team winning 82, 83 games. Jake Fraley is a nice piece. Austin Hayes, Gavin Lux. They picked up Brady Singer in a trade last year. They have some decent guys in the bullpen. Hunter Green at the top of that rotation looks good. Concern at the catching position with Tyler Stevenson hurts, but overall, I think that they can win 80, 82, 83 games, maybe even sneak into the wild card.
Milwaukee project for Milwaukee over under 83.5. They project to go 81 and 81. Welcome back to Evan Asks Stupid Questions. Is Christian Yelich healthy and good to go?
He's healthy.
That doesn't sound confidence inspiring.
Well, look, Christian Yelich is one of those players who I just want to be good. He seems
like
he
bat 315. He bat 315 last year in 270 at bats.
Well, and that's just it. Is I want to see a full season of Christian Yelich again. Something like in 2023, you saw what he could be at 7.5 WAR almost. Last year at 4.7 with those 315 plate appearances. I want a full season of Yelich so badly because he could be such a dominant player, and we've seen him be such a dominant player. They picked up Nestor Cortez, Tyler Alexander. I don't know how Jose Quintana is still pitching, but he is on this Brewers team. Oh, what was that line again?
83.5. Somebody has to win games in this division.
I think I'm going to say over. This team has some spark.
So can this be where we're at the Pittsburgh Pirates section of this, the 79 projected wins, a win total of 77.5. I'm going under for one reason.
Is it their owner?
Well, that doesn't help by any means. No. I have a hot take I would like to get off.
Okay.
I don't understand why Livy Dunn is dating Paul Skeens. I do not find Paul Skeens attractive in the slightest. How is he dating so far out of the league? The mustache.
He just looks like a dude. Like he just like super unremarkable.
But the mustache just if he didn't have the stash, I would understand it more, but like, oh my god. Anyways, this team feels like they are a house of cards, and one bad, soft tissue issue, or God forbid something worse happens to Paul Skeens and they win 60 games.
Yeah.
Even though that's like straight up not how pitching works, I understand, but like it feels like this team is really a Paul Skeens sort of solo act.
Well, I mean, we saw this when they had Garrett Cole. It was the exact same situation where they had one guy who could hit and one guy who could pitch, and that was the whole team. Plus Andrew McCutchen, because Andrew McCutchen is forever. Under.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Skeens is incredible. Like, the pitches he can throw are great. I have opinions. St. Louis, 76.5.
Best fans in baseball.
If they're such great fans, shouldn't they accept more than this? Shouldn't they demand more than this mediocrity?
Oh, that was facetious. The St. Louis Cardinals fans are the worst. I
know, but I was going along with the bit. Okay.
Are you not inspired by a rotation of Sonny Gray, Eric Fetty, Andre Palante, Miles Mikolas, and Matthew Liberatore?
If you asked me how many years ago did Sonny Gray retire, I would have said pre-pandemic.
Yeah, this team is bad. They have no depth. They're all old. Their best player is probably Nolan Arenado, who I don't even think wants to play baseball anymore.
Is Paul Goldschmidt, was he on this team for a bit?
He was. Yeah, Goldie was. He's on the Yankees now, too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So the Yankees really just collected the Infinity Stones of first round fantasy picks in 2016.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. No,
is like Matt Holliday, was that his name?
Matt Holliday?
Matt Carpenter? Somebody?
Those are both guys.
Were they not Cardinals like 10 years ago?
Yeah. Matt Holliday was on the Cardinals in 2016 and actually went to the Yankees the next year in 2017. And Matt Carpenter, he's finally done. Okay. Yeah, he was on St. Louis, and then he was on the Yankees as well at one point, and then came back to St. Louis last year.
Yeah, this tells you how much I know about the Cardinals. The only Cardinals I can think of are people who were Cardinals like 5 to 10 years ago.
Comparing them to that Cubs team and remembering that Cubs team because they had to play that Cardinals team a lot.
I guess I don't know. I just for you as well, I assume.
Yes, this seems bad.
So the NL West, the best division in baseball, like not even close.
Yeah,
this is a bloodbath of a division.
Yeah, this is this is where the baseball happens.
Diamondbacks over 86.5 wins. They lost to the Rangers 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Failed to make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Gonna ask you the same question I asked you about the Rangers. Which year is more aberrational?
I think last year. This team has a really good offense. Zach Gallen's a really good pitcher. Merrill Kelly's kind of old, so you're not going to expect much from him. But they did pick up Corbin Burns in free agency, so that's going to be a good pickup for them. Yeah, I expect this team to do really well. Over.
Do they still have the stupid, was it a humidifier? What was the thing they put in when Goldschmidt was on the team that dampened offensive efficiency in the team?
That's in Colorado and Arizona. They have a humidor.
Humidor, not humid. Yeah.
It's about elevation and keeping things fair and etc.
Do they still have that bullshit in there?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess that helps for a decent pitching staff. I feel like I've gone under a lot. I feel like you can't go over on all three of Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks.
Oh, I know which one of them I'm going under on.
I wonder if you and I have the same thought process on this. But we'll get there when we get there. I'm going over. Yeah, last year sort of felt like a comedy of horrors, sort of, to not make it. Balanced schedule should help.
Yeah.
Colorado. Do we expect anything out of the Rockies? 86 projection, by the way, on Fangraphs. 65 projection for the Colorado Rockies. 58.5 win total. I am applying my White Sox logic. You just can't set the number under 50, or starting in the fives, and for me to bet it.
Yeah,
the under,
that's a hard under.
Oh wow, I'm going over. Just the law of numbers. You
can't
be that bad.
Fangraphs is 70. Yeah, sorry, no, I'm going over the line.
Yeah. Fangraphs is 65. Lines 58. Betting lines 58.
Yes, over.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, not much to say about this team. They're bad.
Is Chris Bryant still in Colorado?
Yes.
Oh well. Maybe he can be good at some point again.
No.
Yeah, but he's hot. This is why I like that Cubs team that much, is that they were a collection of extremely handsome individuals.
Okay, I have to pause right now. BRB.
Dodgers. Obviously they're already 2-0, so that helps a bit. 97 win projection on Fangraphs. 103 win total, and that 103.5 is minus 125 to the over. So people are really buying the Dodgers. Obviously, truly collected the Infinity Stones of basically everybody. I don't want to even try and pronounce the name of the Japanese pitcher they got. But
Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, Sasaki. They signed a bunch of people this offseason. I'm literally blanking on everybody else. They got the Teoscar Hernandez signed. It's a deep lineup, obviously. What do we sort of make of do we think 103 is a really high number, bro?
Yeah, that's a high number, and that's the Fangraphs line?
No, 103 is the betting line, 98 is the Fangraphs line.
103 is really high. I can see it happening, but I'm probably going to take the under just because baseball is too random for me to bet in at 103. It's very, very high. Shohei is the best player in baseball. Mookie Betts is one of the best players in baseball. Freddie Freeman's one of the best hitters in baseball. Teoscar Hernandez is consistently a 20-plus home run hitter. And that's their top four hitters. His team is so good. It's
Have you been following the Mookie Betts health subplot?
His health?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Hasn't eaten solid food in 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Weighed $175 at the start of spring training, weighs $150 now.
Jeez. Did they have any idea what it was?
I think the leading theory is some form of food poisoning when they left for Japan, and hasn't gone away yet.
Brutal. Yeah, it'll probably take him a little while to work back up from that, but that's awful.
Yeah, no, not great.
I'm not going to say that that'll impact their line very much. Like, really, that doesn't come into my judgment here. I really think that they can be a 105, 110 win team. I can't bet it.
Do you think the rotation's like nasty, right? Yamamoto, Sasaki, Shohei. Didn't they signed a really good free agent pitcher too? Like
Blake
MLB.
Snell.
Blake Snell, thank you. Like Clayton Kershaw's their 5. What the fuck? Like I know Kershaw's not Kershaw, 5 years ago, but like Clayton Kershaw's your 5. Like that's what are the risks? I guess from
I don't even know that Kershaw is
Shohei.
5.
I guess the risks are what Shohei is like not nearly as good after Tommy John. I guess,
but we've already seen him bat post Tommy John. Like that's the thing is this team is so stacked. Does Clayton Kershaw start in the top 5 here? No, he's on a 60-day IL. He is injured. Okay.
when he comes back, then
Yeah. So
but also, you can probably use Clayton Kershaw as a spot starter, and then it's like, well, great, you've got the best spot starter in the league. Pitch him once every 9 days.
The depth here is insane. The positional player depth is insane. This is like inarguably the best team in baseball, potentially on paper the best team in baseball history.
Can I express my one deep-seated hatred of this team?
What's that?
Their catcher, his name is Will Smith.
Yes.
I'm just gonna need people who have kids to have more imaginative names than Will Smith.
Well,
because there's now the actor, Will Smith, the baseball catcher, Will Smith, and the San Jose Sharks number 2 overall pick, Will Smith.
Well, it's a good thing that Will Smith, who played on the Kansas City Royals up until last year, is still a free agent. Otherwise, you'd have a real problem.
I can't fucking take it. Stop naming your kid William if you have if your last name is Smith. Jesus Christ, people, stop. I can't fucking take it anymore. Padres, I assume this is where we agree.
Oh yeah. Hard under. This team is overrated and going to fall apart.
So how do I say this? Why did everybody assume that overpaying a bunch of people who never quite proved that they were good enough to justify the money that they were asking for? Why did we think that it was going to work in San Diego?
I'm really not sure. The big mistake, in my opinion, was trying to build a core around a shitty person like Manny Machado, who has never shown himself being capable of being an adult baseball player. Everything that falls from that is just a reflection of the bad decision making that you see in the process of the Padres organization.
So pretty good rotation in San Diego from memory.
Michael King, Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta is kind of old and bad, but he'll be okay. Randy Vasquez and Kyle Hart, they're going to need depth. And
feels like if they have a bad April, they might be the team that pulls shoot and gives the Phillies or the Yankees the one last pitcher they need.
Yeah, they spent some money in the offseason here too, right? They signed Yuli Gurriel, Martin Maldonado, Gavin Sheets, Jason Hayward.
It just feel like they're paying sort of like 115 cents on the dollar for every guy.
Yes.
And they're not going and getting they're not getting the right players. They're overpaying for the middle as opposed to paying up for the top.
Yeah. They're just not. They make poor decisions organizationally, and it reflects in the product.
Giant, it's an 82 win. Fangraphs has them at 82 wins, so I feel good on the under with the Padres. Giants 80.5. Fangraphs projects for 81. Do the Giants still have the old Phillies general manager who's like the analytics guy?
Is it the manager you're thinking of or the general manager?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Their GM is Joe Schoen.
Not who I'm thinking of.
No. Are you thinking of Farhan Zaidi?
I did a manager then. No, it's not. I must have fired him then, or I'm completely wrong about this person existing.
Are you thinking of Farhan Zaidi?
Yes, that is who I'm thinking of.
Okay, he's a special advisor with the Dodgers now.
Oh, wow. Nice. All I know is that I follow a lot of San Francisco sports fans because of the Warriors.
Okay.
They all seem to despise the Giants with the passion of 1,000 firings, fiery suns.
But
the thing is it just that they're like sick of being in the middle, or is the team actually bad?
Yeah, I think this is one of those middling clubs where you're just frustrated because they're not getting over the hump. They have a lot of good, not great teams, players, and they
are the Giants the NL Blue Jays.
Yeah, I would say that that's a very good comp.
I cannot believe I've just bullshitted my way through an entire baseball podcast.
Their rotation is okay. Their big offseason signing was Justin Verlander.
Wait, Justin Verlander is still pitching?
42 years old and still throwing heat.
Why?
I don't know. I guess he really doesn't like his wife.
Is he who is he married to? Kate Upton?
Yes.
What, is she the one who was like, this would have been I think pre-pandemic. Was she the one who was just like tweeting at baseball writers who didn't have him on their Cy Young ballots or something?
No, I don't think so. The nude pictures of them leaked during the fappening, if you remember that. I think it was like 2013 or something.
Oh God.
Yeah. So those are.
I don't understand happily married athletes who continue playing into their 40s.
Yeah.
I'm not happy that he is continuing to exist and continuing to, make me hate his legacy, but like, I get why, extremely depressed person Aaron Rodgers is trying to find salvation on the football field. I don't understand why allegedly happily married family men do it.
Yeah, I don't get it unless he still really thinks he's got something to prove.
Okay, but then like he has a ring, right?
Yes.
Because that's usually what it is when the guys stay too long, right? It's like it's the Ray Bork going to Colorado to try and get a ring, right?
This will be his 10th.
If he has one, like, why are you playing for an 81 win team that's going to come fourth in the division?
Yeah. This will be his 10th season. This is unreal.
Wait, only his 10th?
2005 was his debut. Oh, 20th. Wow. What year is it?
That's why I was so confused. Okay. Over?
80 feels low. I'm going over.
Okay. Division. Let's just get division winner picks on the. Let's get division winner picks on the boards for all the divisions. I'm assuming it's Dodgers. For both of us.
Dodgers in the West, yeah.
I'm going Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to take the Brewers there as well.
Phillies?
I'm going to take the Phillies in the East. Yes. We got to be a different somewhere here.
Mariners?
Yeah.
The thing is, we have agreed quite a lot in this podcast.
Yes.
My God. I'm trying to pick a winner in this crap. Detroit, I guess.
I'm going to take the Guardians just because. No.
Do it to be different, because I don't think you and I are going to disagree in the AL East. Or in the AL East.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Guardians.
Red Sox.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Red Sox, and it's going to.
I'm just staring at the teams that we bet over in their totals. Like the division winner doesn't become that hard. Who wins the AL? I assume you're just going to pick the Dodgers and be lame in the NL.
So the AL, I think it's going to be the Mariners.
Okay.
And the NL, I could see the Phillies taking a shot at it. I think I'll go Phillies just for fun.
I'm going to go Braves.
There you go.
Because I think they're a better postseason team than a regular season team. I think Acuna should be fine by October, and I think they'll definitely get in. They've got the GM that I have the faith will do something potentially reckless, but will give them the best chance of World Series equity. We've seen it in Toronto.
We have.
Anthopoulos has no problem making a win now trade. Red Sox, I guess, for me in the AL. Braves over the Red Sox for the World Series.
Braves over Red Sox in the World Series. I'm going Mariners over Phillies. Let's go Seattle.
Seattle championship. I know people who will be very happy about that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for doing this, bud.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for listening to me talk baseball at you for a little while.
Hey, I am happy to do it. I'll have you back on at some point to sort of go over it. See how we're check in. Obviously, if any Blue Jays news breaks that's actually important enough for me to want to have a conversation about, I will. You will be my special Blue Jays correspondent. Do you have any really spicy take for the season that you weren't able to get off during this podcast?
Let's see.
Where are you on Robot Umps?
I just do it now. Just do it now because it's gonna come. And it's going to take a while for them to get the bumps out. So it just needs to happen. So just do it.
I agree. I hate the imperfections of this crap. I understand that sports are, a game of sort of luck and whatever in a lot of ways, right? I'm a golf fan. The concept of, a ball bouncing left or bouncing right out of a, from a drive, I get that, right? I get the difference between hitting a tree and bouncing out back to the fairway versus hitting a tree and plugging or being right and stuck in the root. So I get the fine margins of sports. I don't like it when it's the fine margins of artificially imposed nonsense because a union is protecting its, worst members. Hey, at least we got rid of what's his face, Angel Hernandez.
Yes, Angel Hernandez has retired, and we are all better off for it.
Follow me on Twitter at eScrimshaw, Sam on Blue Sky, political writing, scriptunscripted.substack.com. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for hockey, because I am going to be writing about the hockey playoffs. And I think I'm just going to do it on Unscripted, and basically people can bite me if they don't like it. Does that seem a reasonable proposition?
I think so.
Yeah. These are the moments where I really wish I'm still ready for the lines. But hey, people are allowed to make bad choices. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the video, listen to my political podcast with Brian Burgett yesterday. Buy my book, Salvation in the Storm. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thanks for having me.